Here we have our
spark plug.
I think it's the distributor cap though. All right, well, broke down in fourth gear, so I couldn't get it out. I ripped it out with pliers. I think we did it. Dang it! She was running so good. And I'm doing all these dumb things. There's this wire right here that I don't really recognize. Is it fuel related? Holy heck, is everything so hot in here. Shop vac installed to the exhaust pipes right now.
The rubber fuel line, and get rid of the filter, the sight glass.
Yeah, the sight glass is potentially, it just doesn't need to be there necessarily, so. Oh, she just killed. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Holy. Twice, really? All right, good morning from Stewart Mufflers. We are here in the engine bay looking at a couple things. One, the distributor cap is what we thought was initially the problem. We'll continue to deep dive through that, but when I cranked it over, it's spinning just fine. So if it is riding on the camshaft, doesn't seem like any teeth are broken. We're thinking it could be these modules because they've been known to go out. That or this starter solenoid or whatever it's called. The internet can roast me all they want. I am gonna leave it here in their hands and we'll come back and see what they say about it. No way, guys. You won't believe what it was.
Spark plugs. You don't put all-light spark plugs in a Ford. You put Motorcraft.
Depends on who you talk to. There are gonna be 1,000 different people to tell you 1,000 different things. This is an auto light spark plug. And Motorcraft was the original manufacturer's
But they foul out.
Basically, we made it 5 minutes down the road and we lost our motor. I wonder if that one was the fouled out plug too. So, stuck on side of the road yet again. Update on the burnt spark plug. We moved it. We moved it to this one. I'm gonna go ahead and kill the motor because it's running good, guys. We're back to running. We're running good. So there is the previously burnt shown spark plug boot that was potentially arcing out on that header right there. So we took this boot and swapped it. I don't like this look, guys. We have not made it out the city of Lake Wales. We are in the Lowe's parking lot. It still has the problem. I think I'm gonna go across the street to the AutoZone and see if they got a DuraSpark box and replace it one-to-one. Thanks, AutoZone. We've got our DuraSpark computer, and did you know that this thing is absolutely empty? All right, potential problem, computer or whatever, ignition bullshit it is, it's out and the new one is in. Now we're gonna test fire this, see if we've got a good engine. And that's the choke, that's high idle. Oh, she's snappy.
There you go, yeah.
Yeah. Woo!
There you go. Nice.
Thank you, Neil. Thanks so much. Moment of truth. All right. I really want this to work because we are going to Sebring next week for the 12-hour race. And I want to race this car around the Sebring racetrack. Oh, I'm so scared of getting on 27. I should do a couple hot laps in the parking lot. Yeah, so next week we're going to Sebring for the 12-hour race. And I got special tickets to the Mustang Corral I'm so nervous. All right. Come on, baby. For the love of everything American, let's get home. All right, catch up with you guys, hopefully, in the garage. All right, I wasn't feeling it, guys. I wasn't really feeling it. I made it to third gear, and I just didn't really like the way it was sounding, so I immediately pulled off of the interstate. There's a abandoned mall. Well, it's not really abandoned, it's just our mall in Lake Wales, which is hardly used. It's actually where I want to take my wife to learn how to drive the Mustang, because this has got a lot of open space. But I just want to drive it a couple times and see if I can make sure it's healthy. So I'm over here in this parking lot. I mean, it's snappy. All right, we should be good. We should be good. I don't know if you can hear that. But that is a new noise. That it almost sounds like an old diesel truck. It's got a little hesitation in it still, and I don't know where it's coming from. So we're just gonna continue just nursing it down the road. It doesn't feel happy. It definitely wants to fall on its face. And the faster I go, it feels like the problem gets worse. So instead of pushing it, we're just gonna do a nice, easy fourth gear cruise. I don't know what it is, guys. It's still persistent. It's troubling. It's troubling for sure. It almost feels like timing. All right, Deja Vu is back in the stable, only by the grace of God, thankfully. All right, it's the next morning, and we have Deja Vu on some blocks because I have no e-brake as apparent. Does that sound like a bad carb, or does that sound like a distributor that's just completely died? Was it better or worse when I tuned it? We're hoping for better. We should go for a test drive now. Go for a little run. And the answer is absolutely not running good at all. Just killed right out the driveway. And yeah, let's see if we can get it home. Come on, baby. Clear left, clear left. Now we're just nursing it, not trying to get on it. And the motor's out. Dang, those brakes got hard to press. Literally less than a minute test. Went 20 seconds to the right at a good RPM rate just to test it out, and she died immediately. We're gonna let that cool down. We're back in the garage, safe and sound, and then we're gonna start messing with the electronics. We're gonna clean up that mess down there, make that look a little neater, and then we're gonna change these spark plug wires, see if that fixes our problem. Here we have our spark plug wires laid out, and we will get to swapping those over and testing that right now. All right, here we have all the spark plug wires readjusted and fully pushed in, replaced, except the middle one that goes to the ignition coil. That one there is a bit of a unique end, if I could show it to you, and it did not come with my set. So you can see the end there. I definitely didn't get one of those, so that's gonna stay with the set. I think we're ready for a test drive. I also went ahead and went through all of these wires to make sure that the other spliced set were removed. So this is a clean set, and I also tidied up this cable here. It looked burnt, but it's probably from the heat gun. Last thing to note, that this is a little loose, so we'll go ahead and tighten that. Oh my gosh, little loose. Little loose is understatement. I swear that was not rigged. That was how loose my negative was, so that couldn't have helped. Even though it's running bad, you just gotta stand back and appreciate this American piece of history. We've got our negative firmed up. The negative is nice and firm, not going anywhere. We just gotta pray. I gotta pray that this works. One thing that I am gonna do is I'm gonna pull out the distributor, or I'm gonna pull out that wire that goes into the ignition coil, and I'm just gonna leave it enough to start the car. I just wanna hear if we have some good spark. All right, that was for Peter from Orlando. I hope that shows that we have good spark and we're good to test drive this car and hopefully not break down. Let's get on the road. All right, neutral, a little shot of gas. All right, we got the Insta360 rolling on the Mustang. Sun setting, motor's alive. So let's see what we can get into. So immediately out of the driveway, it killed last time. So yeah, this is the test right here, guys. Let's see if I make it past the next neighborhood. fully warmed up, but that's where I plan on turning around, hopefully. the point of this is to get it dialed in for the 12 hours of Sebring, because there's an opportunity to drive this car along the track. Under load, it does hesitate. And there's this weird ticking sound. I don't know if you can hear it in the driver's side front of this car. It's like a little ticking diesel. I think I'm gonna try to work on the carburetor a little bit. Let it keep running. Work on the carburetor a little bit. Alright, this is our second test drive after the tuning of the carb. Seems smooth. Getting somewhere. Ah! Man, I thought we were close to being there. I don't know, man. I really don't know. It sat there and got tuned the whole time. Forget at how these brakes get tough. Oh, she's not happy. Oh, she's not happy. Oh, she's definitely pissed. Oh, of course I get traffic. So weird. That's not good. There was a foreign noise, a rattle. I didn't recognize when the compressor kicked on. So the car's under load now. There's this wire right here that I don't really recognize. I don't know what this blue wire is that goes to the firewall. That could be something. Oh, it's gonna smell like gas in here for a minute. Whoa. That might have been a mistake to leave that running that long. It smells in here, guys. This is pretty warm. It's pretty toasty. I mean, yeah, it's pretty hot. But what is pretty hot? Like, that radiator hose is way hotter than that. Oh my gosh. What the What the? That wasn't all the way down? You kidding me? What the? Ah. One of the spark plug wires weren't all the way down. I don't think it's it though. I don't think that was it. But you can't not try it. Gotta give it a try. I swear if it was just a spark plug wire. She's snappy. This is so ridiculous. I think it's the distributor cap though. I think it is the distributor cap is something in there. Something in that wheelhouse is causing this error. I promise you. Let's go check it out. Headlights is what you hear on. That little hum. is it? What can it be? I can't mess with these spark plug wires because they're smoking hot. Wow. I mean, everything is pretty warm to the touch. Something about the vacuum advance could be something. Is your distributor cap supposed to do this? Anybody know? See, that's what I was taking these wires off and I noticed that. All of them are good here. This wire is troubling. Like, I don't know where this wire goes. Also, there's no fuel in this. No fuel whatsoever. Could that be it? Could it just be running out of gas? Let's see. Let's see if we're running out of gas. That's gas, even though that's empty. So, is it starving itself out of fuel? That's the question. Is it the fuel pump? Is it fuel related? It sounds like it's running out of fuel. I think it's fuel, guys. I think we found it. Sneaky suspicion, but every time I go to start it up, it runs fine. When I get to third gear, it needs more fuel, and that fuel filter or the fuel pump isn't keeping up, and it's running that little bay dry and starving the engine out of fuel. I was able to try to keep it alive by puttering it up, and it was trying to stay alive, and it didn't backfire. So now I'm thinking it's not electrical, it is fuel. Let's try to get this thing home. All right, we already put fuel in it. Come on, babe. We gotta at least get it back to the garage. Teamwork right there. All right, we're gonna get out and we're gonna check. Once again, we're gonna check the fuel. That was scary. All right, and it's full of fuel. Totally full of fuel. Really scratching my head on this one. Now I don't know what to think. I'm gonna put it back in the garage, put it facing out. We'll be working on this thing. Hopefully get it running by Friday morning is when the Mustang parade lap is at Sebring. So we got some work to do, boys. All right, I just got off the phone with Peter from Orlando Mustang, and he's talking to me about, you know, how I should protect the wires. And I'm like, oh wait, how am I protecting the wires? Did I zip tie them out of the way? Nope. This one was resting on the manifold and now has a nice piece of exposed wire. Dang it, why am I such an idiot? So we're gonna go ahead and pull this one and replace it with a red one. Before I decide to change the fuel pump, which I'm considering, I think that we are gonna check the float level. This is not Danny's classic garage. This is Reese Get Her Done. Alright, this is, I think, a 9mm spark plug wire. We're gonna zip tie these out of the way. Yeah, this one is, I think, a 9, and the black ones are an 8, so that's not too far off the path. But yeah, we're gonna make sure that these wires are no longer touching, and then we're gonna set that screw right there. Yeah, it's been a late day into night working on the carburetor. I'm such an idiot. About an hour and a half spent with Peter from Orlando Mustang, just coaching me through, checking the float, making sure the levels of the fuel was right, and I'm changing the settings, doing everything he says, and my dumb self was adjusting the front, but looking into the back carburetor bowl like a tard. I'm like, I don't think it's moving. You know, the levels haven't changed. So much education is going on, learning and tinkering with this car. I think it is the fuel pump is the culprit, because basically it's running out of gas. You know, get on the road and the fuel pump can't keep up with the RPMs that we're demanding when we get up to speed. Down there is a little glass sight inline fuel filter, and occasionally it'll just be dead empty. So I went to the gas cap, put my mouth around the port and blew, and sure enough filled the glass sided fuel filter. So there's something going on where the motor is not getting enough fuel, and we're going to start with a fuel pump tomorrow. We're calling O'Reilly's. We're going to change that out and see where we're at. And I'm an idiot now. I've got 2 red wires for the spark plugs, as you can see here, because I let them sit on the header. You know, brand new set of spark plug wires. Didn't take care of it. Now had to rob one from the old set. You know, things you learn. Glad I didn't spend the extra money on an expensive set. I'll see you tomorrow. What'd you say? Come here, girl.
Look, I got my bow tie. Got cocoa nut.
You know I'm working on the Mustang?
Yeah.
Do you want to help me?
Yeah.
You want to help the dad there? So we found a noise yesterday, and it sounds like a diesel.
Uh-huh.
And I think it's a manifold leak.
Oh, manifold leak?
Yeah, manifold leak. So we're going to put the shop vac, and we're going to tape it to the exhaust pipes, and we're going to blow air through it.
I need that?
You're going to need some wrenches, because I think we're going to tighten up some bolts today.
Oh.
Hold that.
Okay.
All right, let's get it. This is our home vacuum cleaner. It really does everything. We clean up the kids' food out of the kitchen with this thing. It lives basically at the kitchen. This is just a soap, you know, and water solution that we're going to be spraying the manifold and see if we have any leaks. So we have the shop vac installed to the exhaust pipes right now. Check this side, yeah, right away. I was able to tighten up a few of these, but the rear ones right here, this is the loose one. Right there, that's the loose one. And I feel like tightening these up are gonna clear up that tick, tick, tick sound, the diesel sounding new noise that we discovered. Oh yeah, this one's way loose. There we go. Nice and tight. Introduce yourself and your history with mechanics.
I'm Uncle Tom.
Uncle Tom, Grandpa Tom.
Grandpa Tom.
Grandpa Tom's here, and we were looking at the fuel pump, and Tom said, I don't know, it's sucking air, so let's do something. What would you recommend instead of replacing the fuel pump?
We're gonna replace the fuel line, the rubber fuel line, and get rid of the filter, the sight glass.
Yeah, the sight glass is potentially, it just doesn't need to be there necessarily, so
Possible hazard.
yeah, one less thing to worry about. So before changing a $50 fuel pump with a little bit of mechanical labor, you know, they got some mechanisms inside the motor that connects to that you got to worry about. We're just going to get rid of it. We're going to connect 10 inches of fuel line straight to it, get rid of 1, 2, 3, 4 hose clamps, and we'll see how that runs. Caught me right before I'm about to go give this thing a test run. I changed the fuel line before the fuel pump, and that filter in there was grabbing air. But you were saying what?
Well, what I was saying is that the fuel pump is going to flow fuel into your fuel bowl. So whether you have a little bit of air in there or not, it's not going to make that much of a difference because your engine is actually feeding fuel from the float bowl where it's in the carburetor.
Gotcha. Yep.
So that's where it's getting all the fuel. So that is going to be the last line of defense for it getting fuel. Now, if that completely runs dry, then yes, your car is going to stall out and not work.
True.
But as long as you've got fuel in there and it's always adding fuel continuously inside there and staying, staying full and, kind of going through its cycle, full, halfway, full, because it's going to keep using it. And as it goes down, it opens up a little valve that then allows the fuel pump to allow fuel to go in, into the bowl. And then, of course, it uses that.
Okay.
So basically, that's what you want to look at. So like I was saying earlier, when it gives you a hard time, okay, let's say you take it out for a drive and it gives you a hard time, pull over, make sure the engine's off, obviously. Look down inside the carburetor and then go ahead and pull back on your throttle.
Yep.
And you're going to look inside. You're going to see fuel.
Yeah, I've done it, and it didn't look like it gave me a full squirt, but it still had fuel in it.
Well, if it didn't give you a full squirt, then you might have a little bit of garbage inside the carburetor in those jets. You might that could cause a problem because if it gets clogged, or even if your air fuel mixtures get clogged, then that will of course shut everything off.
Okay. Could be carburetor.
Yeah, it could just be a little bit of dirt inside there that got through. Not saying that the fuel pump's not bad. I mean, that's always a possibility. So let's say, for example, since you've got the filter before it, let's say, for example, that your fuel pump has started to deteriorate internally. The rubber plunger that's inside there, if it starts deteriorating, then that could allow those little pieces of rubber to go into the fuel line between the pump and your carburetor. Then, of course, goes into your carburetor and it eventually gets down to where the orifices are at, where it's sucking the fuel into the carburetor. Then, of course, it'll clog up there.
Dang.
So what carburetor do you have on that?
4-barrel Holly.
A Holly. Okay. Yeah. See, those are not easy to determine. You got to take the bowls off. We just used Edelbrock's because those are just so much easier to.
Yeah, my buddy says the same thing. Slap on Edelbrock, and you don't have to worry about tuning it. Just goes. Exactly.
Yeah, the tuning on an Edelbrock is minimal. Holly's like right now. I'll be honest. I've got a Shelby right now that I'm working on, and the work's just propagating, and it's got a Holly on it, and we're just constantly working on it. So we just can't get it to tune right.
Dang.
Yeah.
I have another 4-barrel Holly in my attic that came off of it, but it's older and
It's probably not set up or tuned up, or it's probably dried up, and I wouldn't put it on there.
copy.
Would not. No.
Fair enough.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, take it out for a spot, for a spin, see what you get,
Okay.
and then check for those things, and give me a shout back if their issues continue, or if it all
Thanks.
works out, then give me a call back too, so I know.
Thanks, D. I'm gonna be like thanking so many people at the end of this video because so many people, and you know, I'm just a big sponge right now. I'm trying to be not as ignorant mechanically, so I really
No,
appreciate it.
no, no. No worries. I'm glad to help you. I'm just sorry that I can't get it in right now. Just I don't have the
understand.
manpower.
I understand. Well, I will let
Yeah.
you know. I changed the spark plug
Okay.
wires, and I'm an idiot and didn't pull them away from the headers and burned some of them up. And I'm like, well, I'm glad I didn't spend the money
Well,
on the
that would
expensive ones.
how many of those?
I only burnt up one, and they were
Okay.
burnt.
Yeah, that would not make the car and everything shut off. All that would just make it run just a little bit rough.
Right.
You almost would not even notice it if it's just one cylinder that's missing, depending on how you've got it tuned.
Yeah, I'm about to fire it up right now. Let's see. Little shot of gas. Idle's fine. There's my high idle choke. Right when it starts, it usually does like a high idle.
Yeah.
And then
Well, take it for a spin and see what it does.
All right, call you later. Thanks, dude.
All right, yeah.
Bye. Do a couple quick runs in the neighborhood. Having a good hair day. What up, Reese? Oh my gosh. So, it makes sense just to replace the fuel line. It's a $3 part versus a $40 part, so. The neighbors are gonna get angry. Like every stereotypical Mustang guy. Ooh, this fire. So that's new. I tightened up the bolts, and there's some smoke coming out of that one. So yeah, that's weird that I opened the hood up and could see a small little dribble of smoke coming out of the manifold there after just tightening it too, which is slightly concerning. Unless I over tightened the bolt or something and cracked it. Motor's running good-ish. That's cool to the touch. All my spark plug wires are on. The skipper's cap sealed. I don't know, guys. Thank you. Appreciate it. Oh, friendly people sending some love my way. If only they knew the challenges. Just call them challenges. running so good. This is a friend of mine's house. They have a couple Mustangs themselves. Some two beautiful first gen Mustangs parked under the roost. All right, well, broke down in fourth gear, presumably because we don't have fuel. Smoke. So that's a new one to me, that when you give it gas, smoke, like almost exhaust, comes out of the bowl. So we're gonna start it up, see what it runs like. Try to get home. Right around like the 10-15 minute mark of the car running and at high RPMs. Also, Tom's here to fix our mini split, so thanks, Tom. Now we can enjoy working on this car in the comfort of some AC. We determined that after the fuel line was put on and we're still breaking down, the next thing we want to change out is the ignition coil. So Tom, we have this new Edelbrock high voltage ignition coil that doesn't need a resistor. So because I have the electronic module box from the early model Ford electric ignition module, so we're gonna go ahead and swap those out now. We have the new ignition coil put in. Something weird about it was the boot just didn't want to stay on, but it's staying on now, so we're gonna go for a test run, see how it fires up. All right, new ignition coil test, here we go. Right there is the boot. We had to cut it because it's wanting to slide itself off. But she's definitely snappy. I think we found the culprit. We did it. It's not falling on its face just yet. I mean, look, it's been around like 10 minutes of driving when it starts to act up. Backfire. Engine sounds good. Other than those two backfires, the cap is staying on. A little smoke coming out of the... I think the smoke that we previously seen coming from that cylinder was actually water from the soap spray that we were doing, potentially. All right, so I just got into the car. Can you hear that? Maybe the vibration of the motor and the exhaust rubbing up on some body panels or some think the noise is coming from the exhaust rubbing up on something. Oh shit, she just killed. Just release second. Just release second to try to get it running. Didn't work. Damn it, guys. Holy.
Uh-oh. I look at my wire.
Holy heck, is everything so hot in here. Like this bar is molten level hot. The air cleaner is on fire. I've never had the engine get that high. What is my temperature gauge reading? It's reading normal.
Hey, did it do any good?
No, it just flamed out. It ran good, and then I stopped and take a look at it. And when it gets warmed up, it just flames out. Temperatures look fine. Tom, this is the weird part, guys. My flashers were getting stuck on in the on position. That's electrical. Somewhere something electrical is causing it. What do you see?
What's the ticking?
The ticking could be a little lifter tick.
I'm thinking it could be a wire arcing. Like something's not on all the way.
This engine's shaking a little more than usual.
That wire on all the way on the coil, the one that's not you might get shocked.
Yeah, it's still on it. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Holy!
What's the matter?
Whatever this blue wire is,
That's what was arcing?
was arcing.
That's what it is?
And it just shut the motor down. What the heck? Bro, what the heck was that?
Okay, I'm going back to the East Coast.
All right, later, Tom. Remember, guys, I am not the most educated mechanic. So whatever that wire is definitely needs to be terminated and or figured out where it's gonna belong. So we'll go to the painless diagram now and figure out what that wire is and then park this guy. Now I'm really scratching my head because now it sounds like it's got no fire. So whatever I just did, I might have burnt a fuse or something. We'll be pushing this into the garage. So anyone with a painless wiring harness has this fuse area down here, and it's a inline fuse or a stud mount fuse. So I couldn't get it out. I ripped it out with pliers because I didn't know how to properly get the fuse off. So I'm going to Napa now, and hopefully there's a replacement. Went to AutoZone and got this one, but unfortunately it just doesn't fit. It's a little bit too large. It just doesn't fit on the studs. We got to find the one that we broke. Hey, pretty cool Napa hat though. That was nice. Generous gift from the guys at Napa. I don't know what I deserve to get this, but they had a long line. So I just went to the store manager and I was like, hey, anyone available to check people out? Now we're off to see if we can put the big fuse in, get power, figure out where our spark problem exists, if the car is gonna fire up or not. If it does fire up, go for a test run because we've then found maybe a culprit, breakdown, almost guaranteed. Then put a fuel pump in it. Then go test drive that, probably gonna break down, almost guaranteed. And then cry myself to sleep and try to enjoy the 12-hour Sebring without a 1965 Mustang in the corral that I paid for. That's the facts. Back at the car now, we've got a 100 amp and an 80 amp. They're a little bit bigger in size. Just, I don't know what size is gonna fit on this. The 80 amp's gonna fit in it. And I called Painless, they said 100 amp will be fine, replacing the 75 amp that was in there. So we're gonna go ahead and put this 80 amp in there. It looks like it's gonna fit right in. Just a quick note, it's important to either remove your electric on your ground so that you're not having power run through this while you're doing installation of the fuse. So yeah, just a quick little turn off and I'm good to go. Here's the 80 amp fuse in place. Went ahead and tightened the negative down. I think we're gonna do a test. We've capped off I think it's an ignition solenoid from Painless. It's just, you know, this is the culprit that just arced and killed the motor last time. I went ahead and replaced the ignition coil because I don't think that was the problem. So I replaced it with the original one just because it fit better. And yeah, we're gonna see if we got spark. So we got car neutral. We're gonna jump it and see if we got spark. Put the key in the on position. Go ahead and rest the spark plug wire. We're gonna jump it. I don't see anything. I don't see any sparks. All right, guys, I'm gonna be honest with you. I've been at it for about 3 days straight trying to find out what this problem is, and I'm really about to give up. It's disheartening. I just can't find why this engine can't stay alive. I know I'm not the best mechanic and I'm doing all these dumb things that normal mechanics would be like, oh, why did you do that? And I probably would have given up because it's a lot to do, just back to back, multiple failures, just killing the engine, getting lucky to coast to someone's driveway. But I made an offer to my father-in-law to drive the 65 on the Sebring track for the 12 hours of Sebring early on. As you know, I don't have a lot to give, I don't have the most money, but it's a really cool experience because Gary Williams, his dad, raced for Porsche for a little bit, and it's just so cool that I have this car and we can do the Ford Parade lap. It's not racing the car, but you are getting the ability to drive on the Sebring Raceway legally. And Gary would laugh at that because one time when he was a kid, he was telling me that his dad was so drunk that he had to drive him off the infield and he accidentally made a wrong turn, and everybody following him basically followed Gary onto the racetrack accidentally. They were very quick to escort him off of the racetrack, but now, you know, there would be this cool opportunity to give him the ability to do that. And yeah, I just don't feel confident that it's going to happen. But we're not giving up. We're going to charge after it and, you know, call Peter from Orlando Mustang and see what he's got to say about it. Here's my fuse box for the Painless wiring harness. It's all the way up there. I just pulled. And guys, this was right before having a mental breakdown and just saying, I give up, man. I just lost. The Mustang won this time and I was giving up. And I called Peter from Orlando Mustang and he said, man, I'm gonna take away your tools, but you gotta find this burnt fuse. Just head down, don't create more problems, just find that fuse, and it's gonna be an aha moment when you do. Well, here is our aha moment. Thank you, Peter, for talking me off the ledge. Let's replace this 25 amp fuse. Luckily, I bought this early on, and we're gonna find that 25. There it is. Just do a dummy check, because I am a dummy. This was the culprit, no spark. All right, just make sure everything's good here. Tighten, secured. So all our spark plugs are on. Distributor cap's on. Ignition coil is on. Again, confirmed, capped off that. I think this is good, guys. I think we'll be able to start it up. big backfire. This is what we call a Hail Mary. It is 3 p.m. now. We're gonna try to change this fuel pump, get out, test the car, drive it, and fingers crossed, make it to the Sebring 12-hour. If not, it's in the distributor somewhere and we'll try to enjoy a Sebring without the Mustang, but let's get back to work. Here we have the old fuel pump. We don't know if this is the problem or not, but it does leave a hole down there. And we're gonna stick our finger in there, see if we feel the, I don't know what they call it, the Excalibur or something. Oh, they make up names for these motors and I have no idea, but basically the extenuator or something like that rides on that and mechanically pumps it. It's on the cam. So they said I could probably reach down there and feel it. So that should have came, that's a gasket for the fuel pump. That should have came in it, but unfortunately AutoZone didn't include it. So we went to O'Reilly's, $2 later, we got it. Let's go fix this fuel pump, hopefully, and solve our problems. Back to doing the gasket, and it looks like it's not gonna be easy, but we're gonna get that off. There we go, cleaned off, and ready to put the new gasket on. And before we do, we're gonna put some Permatex Ultra Gray gasket maker. We're gonna cover both sides, so we'll do this side. And there we go, nice even coat both sides. Nice even coat into place. Twice, really? Twice? Let's see if the phone works after it dropped down into the fuel pan. And yeah, so if you can hear me, great. If not, I have Apple Care. We're almost done putting the final touches of the fuel pump on. Just gonna tighten it up the rest of the way, connect the hoses. And Peter from Orlando said make sure you use 2 wrenches to connect the hose. That you wrench holds this while you tighten these and put Teflon on the edges of that before putting it on. And everything is snug as a bug on a rug. I had to remove the hose here because that was a tight fit on that bolt. Everything fit as it should. The fuel line wraps around the engine nicely. Everything is tightened up as it should be. I just want to take this time to thank Peter from Orlando Mustang. Was a huge help on the phone with me nonstop, talking me through this, giving me confidence, and just being a shoulder to almost cry on at some points, just because I get so frustrated at myself because I made so many mistakes that were just avoidable. And I know I'm not the best mechanic, but I'm out here just trying to give it my all. We're coming down to the wire. Also, my boy Kevin Colliff at Resto Mod Classics LLC out in Bay St. Louis, who did this Mustang and has also been nonstop answering the phone, answering any questions. The guys over at Stewart Muffler, again, they got me on the road with the 8 spark plugs. No harm, no foul to them. It's a lot of driving and braking and fixing and driving and braking and fixing. So shout out to Stewart and his team at Stewart Mufflers. Lastly, my boy D from CC Restorations. He does classic car restorations down the way in Winter Haven, talking back and forth about what it could be, seeing if I could bring it to his shop. Unfortunately, he's busy and couldn't see this car before the deadline, which is in 8 hours realistically. I'm gonna put the air cleaner back on, fire it back up, and if it runs, we're going on a test drive. All right, boys, going for a ride. All right, I think this is my final test with the Mustang. My final form.
Good luck.
All right, wish me luck. We're going for a ride in the Nene. Yay. All right, it smells like gas up in this thing. It's a new fuel pump, no fuel in it. I wonder how that's gonna work. Fired right up, no problems there. So I got power to the radio. My amps are a little higher than normal. They're coming down slowly. Did I go straight for the highway? No, absolutely not. Let's do a couple runs, normal runs down the neighborhood. Little Sunday cruise runs. And this is the first time we tested two things we did, which is cap the wire that was resting above the valve covers in the canal or the valley, and also the fuel pump. So those are two new things that we did. All right, so remember, it does drive good for the first 10 minutes. So we started the car at 4:30. Usually around the 10-minute mark is when we see some problems. And it does sound like I still have a little tick, 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 or like a manifold leak or something. Everything's normal to the touch. Slight little roughness on the motor. Slight little tick, 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 but I think it's time for the highway. 434. Fifth gear. Perfectly smooth running vehicle. Good amps, good temps. Decent fuel. All right, we're gonna go do the speed run. But again, we're only 5 minutes into it. This could be an absolute terrible decision, but we're going for it. I don't feel any hesitations on the distributor or the timing. Every feedback that I'm getting from the car has been positive so far. Good acceleration out of third, into fourth at a low RPM. She's happy. Downshift in the third, coming up on the 8-minute mark. Downshift in the third, fine. Downshift the second, fine. Accelerating through the turn. This is where we would start to get major activity in the misfires or the flame out or the engine stall, whatever it is. Engine's still running good. We're at the 10-minute mark. Motor's running good. Still running fine. Officially a minute after 10 minutes. 1 minute after 10 minutes and we're still running good. Idling fine. She's feeling peppy, guys. She's still feeling pretty peppy. That is the end of the speed run, guys. We are, and I don't want to jinx it, knock on glass, savior. Next thing we do is we fill it up with gas and we go to Sebring. Yay! We're going to Sebring.
Hello.
What's up? What up, Gary?
Hey, you want to sell it?
Hey, how much you got, boy?
Fire. Hey, you too.
What you trying
What up, homie?
Hey, it's on.
What up, baby? Hey, I'm on the phone. Let me catch up with y'all guys later. God bless you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the price on it.
Gary, what's going on? Are you ready to drive a 1965 Mustang around Sebring racetrack?
I don't know. Is it gonna run?
That is a good question, Gary. That is a fair and honest question. Probability, I'm giving it a 50-50 chance. I'm happy to say this is where we're ending this video. We are done working on it. I had plans to do the oil change and check the gear lube and all that stuff. I'm just exhausted after 3 days, 4 days nonstop working on this thing, breaking down, and I'm just gonna call it a day. Thank you everyone for watching this video. I believe the problem was either the grounding out of that hot wire, which was the ignition solenoid and or the fuel pump. All the other stuff that we changed, yeah, preventive maintenance. Those spark plug wires were going to eventually cause us issues. It doesn't hurt to put brand new spark plugs in it. The fuel pump probably did it as well, but probably didn't. I'm going to say it was primarily that ground that burnt out the fuse in the painless wiring fuse box. And after we handled that, his purrs like a kitten, learned how to do carbureting tuning and adjusting the float. So huge shout out to everyone that helped support this recovery of Deja Vu. My boys at my good friend Peter at Orlando Mustang, on the phone with me nonstop. Eli towing this car to Stuart Muffler, and the guys there, Stuart and Mike. My good friend Kevin Colliff down at Resto Mod Classics LLC, and D at CC Restoration. Also Napa, O'Reilly's, AutoZone, all those guys having parts for these old classic cars, keeping them on the road. Let's go. See you at Sebring tomorrow, racing this thing around the track. We're going to meet Gary Williams and his family and hear about their family's history of racing around Sebring. Till then, like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you on the next one. We just got adjourned from the Imperial Mustang Club of America. No, the Imperial Mustangs of Polk County. And
That was an awesome video.
thank you so much. I plan on keep on making videos as long as my Mustang stays alive. Which today I just finished finding a gremlin, and this was my longest test drive of 40 minutes. So got another 40-minute drive home, and then tomorrow I go to Sebring to race, or to do a parade lap around the Sebring racetrack, which will be kind of cool. One of the cool things about coming to the car show, I got our judging sheet from the last car show that we did, and I got Danny's and Tony. So I got ours, I got Tony's, I got Danny's, and now let's see if we can make it home. It's like midnight before Sebring, and I wanted to change the oil, which I've already done. Didn't feel like I needed to film that. And I wanted to look and change the rear differential or gear lube. So I started to do it, and then I realized I didn't have a pump. And so I stole some kid toys. I want you to see, take a look. Totally robbed my kids' little pump from their pool. Got a little rubber thing here. Just siphoning out the rear gear lube with a kid's toy. This is ridiculous. It's working though.